Yay! We're now live. We're now live. We're now live. Hello, 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 hello. Hello,
God, I
hello,
still look wild
hello.
from my walk. I
Oh,
haven't brushed my hair since I was out.
steaming already. Oh,
What
it's so hot. It's too
is
hot. Yeah.
it? That's like unusual that you're complaining about the heat.
I'm quite good usually. I mean, people in this country, we do complain about the heat a lot. That's because we have a really humid heat.
Humid heat is better than dry heat, I tell you.
I disagree.
Come to the
Disagree.
desert.
You are incorrect. If you're watching, which is better, humid heat or dry heat?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll do a little poll. Am I right or is Barbara right? Because I just sit here and I just feel like this gooey, sweaty mess
I
when it's
tell you,
humid and it
when your
feels
skin
hotter.
cracks
Yeah, but
because
then
it's
I
so
can
dry.
moisturize it.
No, you can't keep up with the moisturizing. Can't keep up. I tell you,
I'm
it's so
tutting at
sorry.
you now.
All these little cracks that you have, right? When you almost cut yourself with the kitchen knife or things like this, and then they suddenly they gape open and go hard, and then everything you touch is like
See, I
agony.
get that in the cold with cold hands and stuff.
Yeah,
I
with
don't
cold
get it in
and
the
dry,
warm.
exactly. Yeah, no, you do when it's really dry. So stop complaining.
Should we have?
Be glad it
Should
rains
we
so much.
compromise with medium?
Boring, but we can.
No,
Did we get
I know.
responses to what's better, humid or not?
Okay,
Because
let's
I
have a
can't
look.
see a thing again. I just see you.
Lisa says dry heat is always better. Yes, and see, there's another lady living on an island. So yeah, you feel my pain.
You don't know what you're talking about.
She
Come to the
does. She
desert and
so
you learn
does.
dry heat.
Hi, Shawnee. Yay, we haven't seen you for a bit. That's cool. I'm just trying to see how bad the humidity
I'm trying to
feels like
find us.
you. Says it's less humid than yesterday, and I did go for a massive walk last yesterday. Well, not a massive walk, a bit of a walk yesterday. It was so super lovely. Yeah, Carmela dry, definitely better. I think I'm winning, Barbara.
Yeah, that's just because none of you live in the desert. So the grass is always greener on the other side, right?
Really so
Always
is.
what you don't want.
Really so is.
I'm so glad we have our humidity back.
Yeah, Lisa sweats before, during, and after showers. I'm so the same. I think part of that is my age, if I'm honest with you. Hi, Mal. It's good to see you. Oh, Sue's here. She's in South Australia. You in Adelaide or Port Augusta or those are the two main places I know in South Australia. Go me. Brilliant. Super
Okay.
duper. Lovely to see you all.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
amazing. Yeah,
So
sorry
we've got a
we
nice topic today.
it's a really nice topic. And it's about how confidence training is so much better than obedience. Oh,
Mm.
Highlands of Scotland is very cloudy at the moment from Anne-Marie. Yes, but very beautiful, Anne-Marie. I love it there. Oh, so gorgeous. Although I was in the I'm not far from the Peak District, so I do go there a lot. Mount Barker, I do know where Mount Barker is actually. 6 degrees at the minute. You must be shivering. Happy Monday to you, Anne. I'm on it today with my comments.
Yes, you are. Totally. Okay. All right.
Superb.
Are we?
Should we get on with it? Let's get in there.
Let's get in there. I had my window here, now it's closed again. Where is it? Hello. Yeah, got it.
Are you ready?
hmm So the whole thing with the confidence versus obedience, right, is to do because you could argue that obedience training can create confidence. But I think
There's
for
something to be said for that too.
yeah, but it's kind of a little bit like there's a lot words matter. That's what we always say, right? When we
Yeah.
label the dogs, we shouldn't, and blah blah blah, and how we think about ourselves, words matter. So obedience is kind of an old-fashioned term, isn't it? I know that
Yeah.
there is
You
obedience
will
as
be
discipline.
obedient and do what I
It's
say.
so focused on the task,
Yeah.
right? Be obedient. I say sit, you must do this. When actually you know, it's not always like that. And
No.
when dogs are already struggling with their confidence and when they're struggling, emotionally, then putting added pressure on them that they have to do this thing now can be, well, it cannot be just detrimental, it can be outright disastrous, right?
Mm.
So
And it's
but
not to say, is it, that we don't do training with them, we don't teach them stuff, but it's a how you do it and how you frame it and when you do it and where you do it, so
yeah,
that you can grow the confidence rather than just make it a whole
yeah.
basquillion times worse.
You know how we always use this term like you teach a behavior and then you generalize it and you do all the distractions, you proof it, you generalize it so that your dog will respond no matter what, right? It's like we use that, Susan uses it, we use it like no matter what. But actually, we mean this with a caveat
Mm.
because we can only do this, we can only have that expectations if we don't put our dogs into situations where they're overphased by the
Yeah.
environment, right? Right in front of a trigger. So it's not really no matter what. It's like no matter what, and then our dogs always do the best they can with the education we've given them and in the environment where we're asking them, right? So that already it's relevant to that. Anyway, so
Exactly.
it's not about being really strict, but it's about building confidence. And confidence,
Woo.
of course, does require consistency. And it does sometimes, mean that we have relatively, that we have strict rules about, in the sense that rules can give structure, and that again makes the dogs feel safer. But very often the strictness, at least I don't know about you guys, but for me the strictness is more something I've got to be strict with myself,
I hear
right? To
you.
maintain clear criteria, clear rules, so my dogs know always, what's where they are at. Not about strictness as in you've got to do this always.
Well, exactly. And I think you're absolutely spot on, because when we're sort of doing that, we're focusing on obedience. I want my dog to do X, Y, or Z for me. And you're asking the dog to perform before they can feel safe. And here's the thing is that confidence, it has to come from within, doesn't it? It's not an
Mm,
external thing. You,
mm,
it's not about how they look, it's about how they feel. I mean, I'm sure I know it's something that I've done a billion basquillion times. You know, when you're doing a presentation or something, or you're saying something contentious in a meeting or something like that. And I can remember having colleagues saying to me, "Oh, I wish I was like you. You're always so confident." It's like, I'm actually not. I really don't feel it. So I'm feeling
mm.
horrible and stressed inside that you put on this persona. But it's all well and good me being able to do that as a human. I've got a whole massive prefrontal cortex and I can do that. For a dog, it's not going to
They
work that
can't.
way, is it?
No, they literally have their heart on their sleeve, even though they don't do this,
Yeah.
but they can't. They can't pretend.
But they
It's
do
just
do
that,
that thing, don't they? You see them sometimes when a dog's been asked to do something. So, say they've been asked for a sit, and you could see them and they're sitting because you've asked them to, but the bum's kind of really tense and about to ping up off the floor, and
yeah,
it's not reality. It's not what we, you may go, they're sitting, they're being good, but they're not
yeah,
feeling good.
you can see in their body language that they're not happy, right?
Totally.
The ears, the head, all sorts of signs. So here, and it's not, and that is what we often find, right? If the focus is on the obedience or the dog's response on the task, and then and that's so easy to measure. The dog is sitting or is not sitting, right? So of
Yeah.
course that's where all the focus is. But reading the dog is much more difficult, and unfortunately, I would say that majority of dog owners not really that good at it. Not
I
you
agree,
guys,
and we
you are
see
all
it all the
brilliant.
time, don't you? You
Yeah.
see it every, and I'm
Mm,
sure some of the people watching will know, with the knowledge that you've gained, you're out and about and you see other people with dogs and you're looking at the dog and go, that dog is really not happy.
Mm.
They might be doing as they're told, but they're not a happy dog.
Yeah. And a good example is when people who say, "Oh, he knows. He knows."
Yes.
Because and then with this whole frame, this focus on obedience, with that then comes the dog is stubborn.
Yes. No such thing as a stubborn dog in my view.
No, because I don't think that's
Why?
too complex an emotion. I know what I'm
Exactly.
supposed to do,
Exactly.
but I'm just not doing it. That's just like dogs don't think like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Totally. Totally agree.
Okay, so now we've done exactly what we don't advise to do with our dogs, and that is we talked endlessly about what not to do. Let's talk a bit about
What
the
we
confidence
should
training. What does that
do.
look like as, the real thing? So let's just take a
Yeah,
deep
because if we get that, we
table.
can get our dogs to engage with us properly, like heart and
Yes.
soul, rather than just,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do it because you've asked, because I love you.
Yeah. So
So
what does that actually look like?
for me, I would be, I mean, if we're talking about, there are lots of different things you can do to grow confidence outside that kind of obedience. But let's say we're teaching some skills and stuff like that. So you want to rehearse where it's easy. You want the dog to be able to do the thing in a place where they're going to enjoy doing it and where they already feel safe. So getting that rehearsal in, and quite often that's going to be at home, isn't it? It's going to be
Yeah.
just
Do
wherever
you
you
want
are
to do a little tick list on your whiteboard?
on the whiteboard. Oh, I've got my new toy. I'm still not very
Oh,
good.
but I think it's nicer if you, I mean,
Oh, on my righty whiteboard.
yeah.
God, I got so excited because I do have a new toy. Okay, I have to flip around.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to make it because
No, that's absolutely fine.
so what you
Push
just
that.
said was setting up the dog for success or rehearsing success, right? That's what you just said.
I did. Now, where's my whiteboard pens? Hang on just a second, Barbara. I'll be back.
Sorry, guys. Let's see what's in the. Where are you people behind all my windows here? Goody, goody. Oh, Nicole, you've got summer break. Yay!
Lucky. Okay.
Yeah, Baltimore is super humid. I've been there. I enjoyed it actually. Anyway, so Julia's back. And
Can you see that? Damn it. All my pens have disappeared.
Sorry, Julia, you see, nothing here is ever rehearsed.
Yeah, exactly. We could have
waffle
rehearsed
on.
for success, couldn't we? That's better.
Yeah, we could set ourselves up for better success. But then again, we feel very safe because you people are so nice. So rehearse success, exactly. And what comes to my mind when I hear confidence building, my first thought always is high rate of reinforcement.
Yes.
And a lot of this is like intertwined, right? We can only have a high rate of reinforcement if we set our dogs up for success.
Otherwise, they'll just be shut down, won't they? Worrying about the fact they don't feel safe. Yeah.
Like I have this thing every bloody day. Sorry, guys. I say, I must work on this. And that is Falky's sits at the door. Actually, even he sits to have the crate opened. He's really good at this if it's a training situation or if there are no other dogs are around. But the moment there's too much of a distraction, something that really gets his excitement up, then he can't. He just can't sit.
Yeah.
So when I've got 3 dogs at the door, then it's 2 that like just sit there like, okay, open the door, let us out, right? And then it's like, hello, Falcon, would you please also sit, right? And then, of course, there's also the history of mistakes, that's like, just open the door. There is that. But there is definitely for him that when the others are around, he's too excited. So what have I got to do? I've got to set him up for success, and I have to do loads and loads and loads and loads of rehearsals without the other dogs. So that he can earn a high rate of reinforcement for sitting at the door. It's not that the other dogs are stressed, but, well, he looks forward to going outside and then they're all there. But, and I keep, suck the days over and I haven't done it because there was always something nicer to train than that. Anyway, digression. High rate of reinforcement. So what else? What else? You guys, if you have, let's brainstorm this. If you want to add, put it in the comments. But distance, hey? Distance is important. If we are out and about, we want to have safe distance from anything that stresses our dogs. So for Falky, at the moment, that would mean no other dogs with him at the door. But they could maybe be behind the baby gate in the kitchen. I'll try that later.
Yeah.
Safe
You need to
distance.
start building it up, maybe.
Yeah, I just have to figure out where I'm at, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then of course we need to be able to read our dogs. So us speaking dog, reading the body language, and then adjusting. So listening to our dogs, that's really what it is. Listening to our dogs. So we need to be able to see how they feel and then adjust what we are asking. Or not even asking it. Adjusting our expectations. Maybe that's what is better.
You got anything on the whatnot? Anybody got any ideas? Give our dogs choices.
Yeah, that's good.
Great, Shawnee.
Yeah. Choices. And the thing is here, right? Again, the way we arrange the environment is important. If we just give our dogs 1,000,015 choices, we're not setting them up for success. So we want them. No, so giving our dogs choices doesn't necessarily mean that we just let him run loose in the house, that we just let him loose in an environment. Oh, he can choose if he wants to engage with the other dogs or not. Because number one, we can't control the environment always. Number two, even our dogs can't necessarily make, or they cannot make the right choice always. They just fall into a pattern, right? So they're doing shitty behaviors that they're not enjoying simply because, they're following a pattern or because they're triggered and things like that. So giving them choices doesn't mean that we just let them do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But it
No,
is that
absolutely.
we set them up. Yeah, we just set them up.
It's a guided choice, isn't it? It's a guided choice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that they make good choices, the likelihood of them choosing good choices, or they can make different choices and none of them will end up in trios.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Nicole says, when Chopin heard Canada Day fireworks yesterday evening and wanted to walk back home, I followed his lead. There we go. Yes.
Exactly.
You don't make a
Perfect.
mistake. I was at Canada Day yesterday. Sue says, I've found lately that I have been training with some raw food and the difference in his attention is amazing. That's a really interesting point, Sue.
It really is, isn't it? So have you guys, just a quick question for you. Oh, hang on a second. It's just a question. I find it difficult sometimes to read my dog's temp. Could you do a lesson on this with photos or videos? That's something we can do.
We'll talk about that just now because we actually have done that. But first of all, you wanted to say something else, didn't you?
Oh God, it's gone out of my head. Oh yeah. So talking about choice. So the people watching, have you ever seen your dog do that thing where they just pause and it's almost like you can hear their brain working, like they're trying to make a decision. What's my decision now? Sorry, I'm not in the frame. Have you ever seen your dogs pause and then make a choice? Has that ever happened to you? If you have, just send us a heart because we like hearts. Trying to go back into the frame.
And while you're doing this, I want to respond to the reinforcer.
Yes.
So it's the choice. Let's put it that way. If you want to set our dogs up for success, I think it falls into that category, is that we use reinforcers that match
Got lots of hearts coming in. Great.
our um, that match the distraction level, the environment we are in, the difficulty of what we are asking, all those things, right? So the choice of the right reinforcer totally plays in. So that could be, and our dogs tell us what that is, right? And when we have dogs that are insecure and can be shy in certain environments, like Stevie can be like that, but I'm really lucky in that she loves toy play. So that's the first dog I've ever had that would, in any situation, she'll be happy to tug. And the reason why I'm saying that is really cool is because that will immediately boost her confidence. So if she gets a
Yeah.
scare, I can run in the opposite direction, asking her to tug, and she gets over it really quickly, right? Whereas when arousal goes, sometimes I wouldn't do that, of course, She's also not a dog that stresses high. But I'm just saying, appropriate use of the reinforcers and using the appropriate reinforcement value. And that all has to do with setting our dogs up for success, I think. It's a great point. I really love it. Because it's also just part of good dog training, right? To know what our dogs love
Yeah,
and then to
totally.
use what. Yeah. Okay, well, and then LJ said, pay attention to what our dogs are telling us and support them. Let them know that you have their back. Be proactive. Yeah. And you see, and the thing is, there's a lot of, you get these pieces of advice, like the dog is barking. So then you go out and you make sure your dog stands behind you. And it's all this leadership stuff, right? You have to do.
Oh, so
There
frustrating.
is no button, there is no specific way, one quick fix, and then and then you're leading your dog. It's just that you always show, that you're there and that you don't push them, and that if they want to walk away, then yeah, then you walk away, right? And it will, just like any relationship, it's something that you figure out together. You know what your dog needs, as Lady J said, and you know what it looks like, what they're communicating, and then you follow through with that, right?
Exactly. And when you're growing confidence, of course, it's a really difficult one, isn't it? Because there could be, it's so easy to get little setbacks, but it's
Mm.
also really normal. So you
Yeah.
do get those kind of uppy, downy things going on. So, like what you were
Yeah.
saying with that example with Stevie, with you run away with a toy, she's been exposed to something that she found a little bit scary. But you then did something super exciting. So she actually ended up with a great outcome. So those little cogs are ticking, but then the
Yeah.
next thing is going to come along. And we need to kind of go through that process and make sure that it
Yeah.
continues to happen. And that's
Yeah.
how you end
Exactly.
up, even though it's boingy all over the place, it does
Yeah.
have an upwards
Yeah.
trajectory.
And sometimes, like that question you asked about, have you seen your dog pause, look, and then make a choice, right?
Yeah.
And and the thing is, you've got to be in the right environment to be able to just watch that. I think I shared this once where I was along the lagoon and it was with Falcon and Noah, I think. And there was a seal really close inshore, just sitting there, not moving. So it took a while before Falky actually saw it. And I just let it be. I mean, he was on the lead, but I could have said, okay, we might go far away because I don't know if you've seen this before. He might bark. Or we could just, it's like it's a thing in the environment. It is an
Mm.
animal, but the animal wasn't that close that it was no worry about interaction. It was just a weird sight and potentially weird smell too. So we're walking along, and suddenly he noticed the seal and he barked and got like, "Wah!" But now I stayed really calm, and I just stayed there and laughed. Like, oh, it's a seal, dude. And he's like, oh, and then he checked, and then he goes a little bit closer, and then he goes back again, and goes a bit closer. It was a little bit embarrassing because there was some tourists on the promenade. You have a barking dog and they probably worry about the seal. But nobody got harmed here, right? It was far enough away. What I'm trying to say is that you've got to know that it's safe for everyone,
Yeah,
that they can just
exactly.
go through with the things. Equally, with my dogs, it could be that they stand, they pause, and they look, and they're actually staring at another dog, right? And I can't let them necessarily wait. I can't necessarily wait for their choice. I would want to redirect them. But having said that, it's also clear that I was too close.
Mm.
But as you said before, it's not always, we're not always in a perfect space, and we also need to expose our dogs to stuff like that. Okay, well, you see this other dog and now you're staring, but I need you to disengage from this and follow me this way. We're going this way, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it is also something that they need to learn. So sometimes we wait for the choice, but sometimes we need to interrupt the choice. And I think
exactly.
that's again, yeah,
It's about what's you thinking about, well, what's going to help them to grow.
exactly. And what's the best in that situation? If we suddenly have a shit show disrupting that nobody feels better after that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay. I think I think we've got all of that. And then about the dog language, the body language, who said it? Casa Betty. I forgot. I'm pretty sure you already shared your name with us before, but I can't remember now. Anyway, we did a what was a 5-day or 3-day challenge on body language, and the recordings are actually here on our YouTube channel.
Yeah,
The links are
I'm
right
just
here.
looking for it. I'm going to put the
Put it,
link
yeah,
in
no
the
worries.
chat to it
Right,
so
Sylvia.
that you can go and have a look at that. There we go. The link's in the
There we
chat.
go. That's really quite in depth. There's a lot of info there and a lot of surprising things, I'm pretty sure, because while we worked through it and found videos and watched our own dogs and did the research, Julia and I learned a ton of stuff.
It was great, wasn't it? Yeah,
You
really
never, you
good.
never, and you never stop learning to read your dog better. Yeah.
And I'm going to learn even more because I start my ACE course today, and that's got lots on reading your dog, particularly in terms
Mm.
of pain and discomfort. So I'll be able to share even more.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Very
I've just
excited.
worked through a module in my KPA course as well. That's about
Yeah,
body language because it's so important. I mean, of course, it's important for reactivity because we need to read our dogs so we know when they go from the green into the yellow, so we can interfere before we hit the red. If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, put a tomato in the chat. And
I'm
just throw
checking
the
for
tomatoes in.
tomatoes.
Yeah, put a tomato in the chat because then we know we've got to explain it. Um, but it's also just important for training, even if I'm just in the garage, safe training environment with my dog. I still need to watch his body language. Anne-Marie wants to know whether your ACE course is with Heart Dog.
No, I am going down to Tilly Farm to train. Well, I'm not going there until September, but I am training starting today with Sarah Fisher, who invented it in the first place. So I'm very, very excited. It's because she does the one where you train, you have to do like 3 different modules, and then you can become a certified ACE instructor. And that's, I think, what I want to do. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, fabulous.
But yeah, Heart Dog Race too, aren't they?
Yeah, it's super. Yeah,
Really
yeah.
cool. We love
Great
Janet and
stuff,
Michelle.
Janet. Mm. Great. Okay, dokes. So
Anybody, any questions before we go? And I
Camilla
go
says,
and
wow.
melt into a puddle. Oh, I know. Carmela, she's going to be at the conference week on Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember which day she's on. Oh, I know. I'm so excited, Anne Marie. I think it's going to be awesome. Just had Hattie's just woken up. She was
I
just
could hear that. I could hear that.
fast asleep, woofing in her sleep. She's been to the vets this morning. Everyone's going, oh, I've gone on fuzzy. Come back. Everyone's going to the vets at the moment. I think I might just move in at the vets at the moment. Yeah,
Cool. Thank you, Dex. So I think the upshot of everything is that confidence is something that takes time, right? Both for the dogs, but also for us. We also need to feel more confident, right? I mean, reactivity is really challenging. And to be able to protect our dogs from all the triggers, it's a really hard call, right? It doesn't always work.
Yeah.
My life is messy. Please don't beat yourselves up. You know, we've all been there. So it's something, that's never a linear progression. It's just, trial and error. Sometimes we can just help each other and support each other. And sometimes, sometimes it's really about like, well, you couldn't predict that, Maybe you could have. I had a thing with Falky today on the walk. He went off his we've had these brilliant walks lately. I don't even take the long line anymore. He's like super good, really normal walks. I think I talked about it.
Yeah. So much
And
better than they
then
were.
today I had he went off into the distance, and then here he was. There's a vegetated dune, and I could hear him bark, and then all I could do was take Noah and Stevie back to the car, and then go, or Stevie back to the car, and then take, Noah could come along, and then we went to fetch him, and it was okay. I mean, we got there, and then he followed us back, and then after a while, he lay in the shade. Shawnee says she can't get the playlist to
I
work.
just saw that. Well,
Might
I just
be.
clicked on it and it worked, so I don't understand.
Mm.
It should work. I'll have a look because it says
Anyway,
so it should do.
yeah, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works for me. I just right-clicked on it and it works for me, Shawnee. Try again. What was I saying? Anyway, what I realized was that he had been very reactive to the neighborhood noises this morning, more than normal, even though there wasn't necessarily more. Well, I don't actually know that. His hearing is much more sensitive. So we had quite a bit of barking before we even went for the walk. And then the walk was lovely. He was a really good boy, but him and Stevie had played quite a bit. They ran quite a lot, outruns, called him back, outruns, called him back. There'd been bicycle tracks, which he sniffed, ran along, but always came back when I called him. He'd been really, really good. And I should just earlier have said, you've been such a good boy. It was clear they were tired, both of them. I could see that, they'd run quite a lot. I should just have put him on the lead a little bit earlier instead of saying, oh, he's such a good boy, you can stay off the lead much longer. So he hit, it was just trigger stacking. And in this case, just all the arousal.
Yeah.
And then he heard a bird and then he went looking for them. They weren't actually, the Tweety birds aren't in the trees at the moment. But here's how I measured success. So first of all, it's not really a setback. It's just something happened again, so what? But you know what the biggest success was today? I did not get cross.
Yay!
I didn't get cross. I mean, not that I get, but you know how you internally get cross? Not so much that I take it out on the dog, but like, why can't you be normal? Or why didn't I think of it? Sheesh, now I've got all these rehearsals, that kind of uptight, horrid feeling. Not at all. I just giggled to myself. I was also not, I wasn't a time constraint, so I could just go, it took me 10 minutes, to get to it, because the sand was soft, to go get there and then walk back with him, and then he lay down and I put a leash on him. He was actually really good, right? So that was really, really, that was for me really a good thing. Anyway,
Awesome.
so yeah.
Right, I'm just going to check for any questions. We've got Shawnee's got it working now. Brilliant.
Okay.
Mal says a thank you for the confidence advice. Thank you for thanking us.
Yeah, it's always good to get
It's
feedback.
really nice to
So
know that we've hit the
much.
spot, so thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of, I recognize most of the names on our live right now, and you guys are all, doing great stuff with your dogs and making progress and reporting on your successes, which is fabulous. That's always, so good for us too. It's like cookies. And
Really,
then
really
if
is. We need more.
any of you are listening, maybe also to the replay at any other time, or now, just quietly listening and you're struggling, we are totally happy to help you, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're doing all these things. So we've got a really lovely planner. We have a lovely freebie, for you if you don't know where to start. Just drop us a note and we point you in the right direction, or we can put the thing in the chat if you have it handy, Julia. And if you feel that you need more than just a freebie or a planner, if you feel that you need to talk things over in detail, want us to, help you figure out what's going on with your dog, what might be the best strategy for your dog, because every dog is different, right? Then reach out and we can book you into a call. That's, what we're here for. So don't hesitate. If you need help, let us know. That's what we want to do, right?
Sorry, Barbara, that was me. I just clicked on the open playing thing. So I've put the freebie link there. I will pop something else in there as well.
So Nancy says, awesome ideas, thank you. I do find with our own cattle dogs and our foster cattle dogs that choices are everybody's best friends. Goody. Goody, goody. Great, Nancy. Cattle dogs are just lovely.
They are really.
Is it like Australian cattle dogs, or is it herders that are bred for cattle work?
We're so nosy, but we do like to know.
Okay, so now we've got a whole bunch. Oh, you did is that the same? That's the freebie again.
The freebie is at the top, and then the second one's the planner. It's just it doesn't paste as the whole thing,
Okay.
which is a bit annoying, really.
Yeah. Anyway,
just click around for a bit.
yeah, click around, have a look. If you haven't got, I think lots of you already have that stuff anyways, but
Yeah.
if you're new to us, or if you haven't checked it out, or if you need any more help, let us know.
Exactly. Oh, Aussie cattle dogs, they're such lovely dogs. Really cool.
Yeah.
Super duper. Right, guys.
Thanks for all that work, Nancy. Yeah, okay,
We will see you soon.
end it here. And then, oh, thank you, Camilla. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Take care, everybody.
Bye.